Guys, I wasn't planning on making another video today, but this is so important that I had to post about it. Are you an American? Are you an American who cares about free speech? Well, then this story concerns you. 320 to 91, the House passes a bill to mandate the Education Department to use the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism when enforcing federal anti-discrimination laws. 187 Republicans and 133 Democrats voted yes. Oh, it was bipartisan. While 21 Republicans and 70 Dems voted no. Weird, because last time I checked, the Republicans haven't shut the fuck up. Conservatives haven't shut the fuck up for years about freedom of speech and cancel culture. Like, does anyone not remember for years them whining about how college campuses were too woke and there wasn't any free speech on the college campuses? And now they're all voting, 187 voting to take away your free speech rights. Where are you guys at? All you fucking pro free speech, pro 1A. Where are you guys? Because I don't give a fuck if you are a Republican, if you're a Democrat, if you're a conservative, if you're a liberal, if you're a socialist, if you're a communist, a libertarian, your free speech rights are under attack and everybody should be screaming from the rooftops about this. This is the definition that they adopted. It's called a working definition. Working, so it moves, it changes. So this is part of the working definition of anti-Semitism, but it's about to get a lot worse. Manifestations of anti-Semitism might include the targeting of the state of Israel. You got that? You might just think you might have heard that wrong, but you did not. They have decided that anti-Semitism, which is the hatred or bigotry against Jewish people as a people, they've decided that they're going to include anti-Zionism in that. Zionism is an ideology the same way that being a liberal or a conservative is an ideology. And now they want to make it illegal for you to criticize the state of Israel. I'm gonna need everybody who is an American to explain to me how this is acceptable. Maybe you didn't hear me. They're going to criminalize criticism of the state of Israel. Now I know that we live in the United States of Israel and all of our Congress members are bought and paid for by the Israeli lobby, including places like AIPAC. But last time I checked, we have a First Amendment in this country, freedom of speech. You are not allowed to legislate Americans' speech, but they are. Imagine making a law that says that you can't criticize the American government. Can you imagine that? You're not allowed to criticize the American government? I can't imagine that because we all criticize the American government. Now imagine them creating a law saying you can't criticize the Chinese government. Can you imagine that? Insert any other country. Imagine them making a law saying that you can't criticize a foreign government. If you are not allowed to criticize your own government or foreign governments, then you do not live in a free country. Do you understand how insidious and insane this is? They are trying to take away your free speech rights as we speak right now. They are trying to destroy the First Amendment as we speak right now. They are trying to make you shut up about a foreign government because they don't want that foreign government being criticized because all of our politicians are bought by them. This is after Congress passed resolutions in the last few months saying anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, except it's not. House passes resolution condemning from the river to the sea. Americans, are you guys comfortable with your speech being legislated? I thought we had a First Amendment. I thought we lived in a free country. Also, imagine the shoe were on the other foot with another group. Because you know what? I don't remember after George Floyd was murdered during the Black Lives Matter protest, I don't remember Congress coming together like that to pass anti-hate speech laws against people saying racist things about black people. Do you guys remember that? Oh yeah, that never happened. They couldn't even get together to pass a fucking police reform bill. But isn't it amazing? And please really think about this, that our Congress doesn't do anything. They don't do anything. This last Congress has been the least productive Congress in history when it came to passing legislation. They don't do anything for you. They don't pass any bills that would actually help your daily life. But when it comes to Israel, look at how fast these motherfuckers get their shit together to get a bill on the floor and voted on. Remember when we were talking about healthcare? Remember when we were talking about a living wage and they kept going, oh, we can't come together because Republicans and Democrats don't agree and we need it to be bipartisan and blah, and the parliamentarian and the filibuster and blah, 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 blah. Anytime it comes to passing a bill that would help an American, healthcare, living wages, paid family leave, whatever the case may be, you will not get it. There will always be an excuse. But when it comes to Israel, look at how fucking fast they passed that shit. Look at how quickly they passed those bills to give the Israeli regime billions and billions and billions of dollars more of your money. And look at how quickly they got their asses into the chamber to vote to ban TikTok because they perceive it as being too free speech, even though it's not, but that's how they see it, so they banned it. And how fucking quickly they came together on a bipartisan basis to take your free speech rights away. This expanded definition of anti-Semitism to include everything and anything I don't like, or any criticism of Zionism as an ideology, or any criticism of the state of Israel, is insane. This is fascism. This is authoritarianism. I have never seen an anti-free speech bill that is this insane get through our Congress, which tells you a lot about who actually runs our government. I don't think a lot of people are fully grasping or understanding the gravity of this, the gravity of starting to legislate speech laws. Aside from the fact that it is unconstitutional. This is unconstitutional. It should be challenged up to the Supreme Court at once. But for anyone who is cheering this, get ready the precedent this will set. You think that this isn't going to be used to target other people? You don't think this is going to be used to silence your rights in other areas of speech? The minute you set a precedent legislating American speech rights, you have taken their free speech rights away. Now, I know that all the Republicans who whined for years about how Twitter was authoritarian because they banned Alex Jones on a private platform don't care about, in fact, voted for this. So understand that too. All the Republicans that have been screeching about cancel culture and about, oh, Twitter is censoring conservatives have now voted to legislate your speech when it comes to a foreign government. And I'm not really surprised that all of them voted for it or all the conservative commentators are cheering it. But if you are just like a regular conservative voter, why aren't you bothered by that? Aren't you a little bit concerned that all the people that have claimed to be fighting for your free speech rights for years suddenly are celebrating a muzzle being put on you, are suddenly celebrating your inability to be able to criticize an ideology that you don't agree with, or the ability to criticize a foreign government? This is some of the most dangerous shit I've ever seen, and not a single American should stand for it. Not a single American should be okay with this. Not only should you be calling your senators and telling them to vote against this and telling Biden that he needs to veto this should it pass through the Senate, but you should vote all of them out. These people are literally trying to strip you of your rights on behalf of a foreign government. They're trying to strip you of your rights on behalf of a foreign government. You're going to vote for them again? And this is all in response to people protesting against genocide. So because American citizens exercise their First Amendment rights protesting against the genocide in Gaza, our Congress's response was not to listen to the people, not to say, you know what, the citizens of this country don't want this anymore, let's end it. Oh no. Instead, their response was to spit in your face, send billions more of your hard-earned tax dollars over to the Israeli regime, and say, I don't think that was enough. Let's take away their First Amendment. Let's take away their First Amendment rights. Let's tell them, hey, we don't really like you criticizing the Israeli regime. So you know what? We're going to pass a bill saying you can't. Maybe all of you conservatives that have been screeching about the First Amendment and how communism is coming to get us for the last decade should look at the fact that your so-called freedom-loving representatives are now voting to regulate and control your speech. And that doesn't mean that I don't have a lot to say about the fucking Democrats that voted for this, okay? They're garbage too. All of our legislators are garbage. But the reason why I keep pointing out the right wing is because it is the right that hasn't shut the fuck up about free speech for the better part of 6 years and has continuously said, people like Mark Levin, that the communists are coming for your free speech. Meanwhile, that same guy is cheering the regulation and the dismantling of your First Amendment rights on behalf of the state of Israel. Make it make sense, conservatives. Make it make sense. And to all the Democrats that voted for this, you are trash. And I will continue to call you out as such for the rest of time. Anybody who votes for this, especially if you're in my district, you are gone. I will do everything I can to make sure that you are voted out. And to the Democrats who love to talk about the threats to democracy, you know, Trump is such a threat to democracy. He's such a threat to democracy. You people are fascists. Threat to democracy. You're talking about Trump being a threat to democracy, which I've always said I worry about too. What do you call this? This, under a Democratic Senate and a Democratic president and a Republican House, but still was bipartisan, is a threat to democracy. And you motherfuckers are the ones proclaiming that you care so much about democracy. You're so concerned about Trump and democracy and the Republicans while you vote alongside them to strip Americans of their democratic process and rights. I really don't know how to emphasize enough the catastrophic nature of this bill. I do not care if you are a conservative or a lib. This bill is an attack on you as an American. It's an attack on your freedom. It's an attack on your free speech rights. And I don't care what their excuse is. Because, by the way, hate speech in America is protected speech. That's the reason why those neo-Nazis were allowed to march in Charlottesville. That's the reason why people don't get arrested for saying the N-word. It's because in this country, hate speech is protected speech. Well, not anymore. But again, I don't want you to get it confused. This bill is about legislating hate speech, which again is legal. It is protected under the First Amendment, whether you like it or not. And I have a feeling that some of you conservatives wouldn't really like it if we made saying the N-word illegal. But it's not just making hate speech laws. It is also telling you as a free person in a free country that you are no longer free because you are not allowed to criticize the foreign state of Israel and you are not allowed to criticize the ideology of Zionism. Can you imagine if they made a law saying you couldn't criticize conservatives or liberals? A law saying we couldn't criticize Trump, a law saying we couldn't criticize Biden? This is an attack on your freedom. And if you are an American who gives a shit about the little freedoms that we have left, you should be on the phone right now calling your senators and letting them know that their ass is going to be voted out if they sign on to this bill. And we need to all let Biden know that if he signs this bill, that there's going to be consequences. Because remember, according to this definition that our Congress just adopted, definitions that include things like denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination, i.e., that claiming the existence of the state of Israel is a racist endeavor. So what they're saying is, if you criticize the state and the government of Israel as the apartheid, racist, colonial project that it is, then you're breaking the law. Using symbols and images associated with classic anti-Semitism. Okay, so what you're saying is people aren't allowed to draw or create hateful messages. You know what's really funny? I remember when the conservatives freaked out because they said that free speech included the ability to draw the Prophet Muhammad, and that anybody saying that people shouldn't were fascists who didn't believe in free speech, and yet they're signing on to this. If passed by the Senate and signed into law, the bill would broaden the legal definition of anti-Semitism to include the targeting of the state of Israel. So again, for the people in the back, in case you're not really realizing the gravity of a bill like this, they have broadened the legal definition of anti-Semitism to include the targeting of the state of Israel. So by law, they are telling you that you are not allowed to criticize a foreign government. You do not live in a free country. Call your senators and let Biden know how you feel.